Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday Night Lightstyle. My name is Michael. I'm your host. Let's get started. Fun fact about me, Captain America is my favorite Avenger. One of the reasons why I'm doing this project is our country, America, is overdosing on political corruption. And I think we can all feel it. I think we can all see it in some level. And our guest for today, his name is Tyler. And he fought for this country. And now he's a police officer in Florida. And he's teaching people how to protect themselves and better protect the people around them. He's training good guys. And I think we need more of that, because if the political corruption goes unchecked, we're going to be experiencing some very interesting and negative things as a country. And so one of the reasons why I'm doing this project is to bring attention to issues like that. When I met Tyler, he was getting out of his police vehicle strapped with all this gear. I was in my Jedi cloak, and I asked him if it was normal to carry around all that gear, and he had just gotten out of helping teach a kids class what he did and what his job entailed. And so he's giving back to the community, and I think stuff like that's important. And we had a really cool conversation about what he does and how he follows that passion, and you can just tell he believes in it. And it's a cool conversation. Check it out. Hey, man, we've been friends for like what, 6 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. From about 10 o'clock this morning.
Tyler, pleasure. This is Tyler, and you're a deputy sheriff?
Yes.
Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so I've been a deputy for 9 years now. I spent the first 5 years of it on night shift patrol, which I absolutely loved. Absolutely loved night shift.
Okay.
I had time to focus on what I wanted to focus on.
Okay.
I got really into narcotics.
Okay.
And that's just because...
Personally or professionally?
Professionally.
Everyone's different. No judgment. Yeah.
What drives the problem is the illicit market for it, right? So when you get... Most of our violence in Tallahassee comes from drugs. In a very roundabout way. It's people trying to control the territory. It's people trying to get their money back.
And stuff related to that structure.
Methamphetamine drives burglary like you wouldn't believe. People ripping copper, trying to do burglaries just to get enough to get that next fix.
So it's creating people desperate enough to devolve into...
To commit these terrible crimes, right? Look at what happened with Prohibition, right?
Right.
You stopped allowing alcohol to be legally sold.
And then it all went underground.
And it created monsters. Yeah. I mean, and just institutions of crime that are still around, right? Because they made
sure that didn't leave yet.
Right, they made a ton of money. They had a business model. And they stuck with it. But
arguably, it created some pretty impressive business structure.
Oh, no, it really did. NASCAR, you know,
NASCAR, you say?
Yeah, that's
Wait,
where NASCAR
tell me
came
about
from.
that. NASCAR came from Prohibition.
Yeah, Prohibition. What it was guys in the South, right, were running hooch across county lines. They needed something that could beat a cop car, right? Because cop cars are souped up. So these guys started souping up their own cars.
Oh my God.
So to outrun the cops. So then
How is there not a movie about this?
Then it becomes this competition of, hey man, my car run moonshine is better than yours. And so they'd start racing them.
Yeah.
That's where NASCAR comes from, man.
That's fantastic.
But here's my thing. Getting more into my philosophy on all of it is like, this is a great interaction, right? Because I met you and we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Right, but when I'm at work, when I'm on patrol, people don't call me because they're having a good time. Like people call me because they're having the worst day of their life.
Pure negative.
And you take that on call after call. And it's real easy, especially in this line of work, to just like think that like humanity's just doomed. Yeah. But it's not. Like you think law enforcement training for a long time was mostly like the nuts and bolts of it and not so much the mental.
Yeah. And they're starting to be more aware of that.
Yeah, and not just our mentality, but like victim mentality, right? So
the empathy.
It would be real easy to get upset. And I mean, you were human, right? So like the emotion comes through, but you can't let it be the overriding factor. But like with domestic violence victims, right? If I go to the same house week after week after week, and this guy's beating this girl, and every time I'm like, hey, we gotta leave, we gotta, but she goes back, she goes back. It's real easy to get jaded about that person. And if you don't understand the mentality of like, she's been so convinced that there's nothing out there other than this guy for her. You're right. So once you kind of start understanding that, you can look at it a little bit differently.
And at least not feel crazy by trying what you're trying.
And at the end of the day, I can only help you as much as you want to be helped.
Exactly.
And that's with everything.
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 Yeah. Debilitating substances.
Abuse is an escape.
Yeah.
Right? You don't like the reality that you found yourself in, and boy, this makes me feel different.
Or at least numb.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I don't notice how bad I feel about all the other stuff.
Exactly.
Because this is all that matters to me now. You go to these houses and like kids with diapers full that obviously haven't been fed. The floor is disgusting.
Yeah.
They're just living in this filth, and it's like
They're being trained.
You can't. How do you look at this and think that what you're doing is okay? Yeah. But they're so deep into whatever that hole is that the kids don't matter. So,
or if there is a problem, they don't notice it because
they're just so out.
That's hard.
And again, nothing that I say is on behalf of the sheriff's office.
Yeah,
I'm not representative of
individually. Yep.
But I gotta get that out there because of our social media.
I get it, man. I get it. People who are important to me who are in law enforcement, and you hear their side where they're fighting for their lives. They're working so hard to make the world a better place. And I imagine most interactions, since they're negative, you don't get the appreciation that you hope people feel when they feel safe, because they don't measure the prevention that you did. They don't measure the times they didn't get it. Every other profession, you have all this time to get reps, to get live repetition and practice and practice and practice. I get cracked. I can, my nose, hang on, stop. I'm not dying. If the wrong thing goes wrong in your line of duty, all of the knowledge you were building up to become the best officer is clipped from the tree. You could die. And that's part of your sacrifice. And again, you have to be a certain kind of tough to understand the sacrifice that you're making there. And so first of all, thank you. And please understand that psychologically about the people who are in this line of profession. A lot of these guys, they're doing their best, and because they can die, it changes your chemicals.
The person that you're trying to control has to win one fight, right? He's just got to win one fight against you. You have to win every fight you get into for the next 25 to 30 years.
Yeah, no matter how exhausted you are, no matter what's going on at home.
That's why these reps are important, right? So because we've got to get a good knowledge base so we know what to do, because you may have to fight.
Yeah.
And you got to win every one, like all the time.
You're someone who knows how to control a situation, and you want to use it to help as many people as possible, and it's inspiring.
There's so much like negative and bad in the world. Like, why would you not want to be like the opposite of that?
Thank you for your service. The unique shape that your experiences has crafted you into will be used for good, and I'm thankful, and the people that you saved are thankful whether or not they say it. So
man, that's what a pleasure, dude.
Yeah. Takeaway from this one: you may have to fight to protect yourself. You may have to fight to protect the people around you. You may have to fight for the thing that you're trying to build. This whole following your passion thing, this project, I've had to fight for it, to protect it, to build it against all the different forces that want the routine to stay the same. And guys, this is just a real, legitimate concern. If you're not paying attention to what's going on in our country right now, there is a serious problem with drugs and crime and immigration, and there are good people doing things about it, and there are a lot of bad people who are just really okay with benefiting from the chaos. So takeaway: you may have to fight, in which case build up your knowledge base, train yourself, find your way to protect yourself, because there might not be tons of warning. And I know this is a heavy one, but it's still important. And Tyler, thank you so much for your time, man. And you guys, find that energy, find that purpose. And when you find it, let's talk about it.